What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Let's get right into it. Breaking news: Bryce Young, second-year quarterback, has officially been benched for at least next week for Week 3. Andy Dalton, former starting quarterback for a bunch of years now, perennial backup quarterback for the last few years, is now will be starting for Dave Canales' Carolina Panthers. Let's discuss it, guys. You see the title of the video. We'll get into it in a few minutes about why I believe the Dolphins this year, next year, whenever the trade may happen, whenever he is moved on from officially by the Panthers, why I believe they're the best situation for him. But let's get into some other, things about Bryce Young and why the move happened. Clearly, going to the offseason, we've seen the Panthers put in a bunch of money into their O line. They also traded for Deontay Johnson, former Steelers receiver, wide receiver 1 or 2, depends on how you viewed him in Pickens. They have Adam Thielen there, so they're built to be better than they were last year. And they put a lot of money, as I said, their O line got a lot of money put into it. The defense was what got took away from. A lot of their defensive players over the last couple of years have been let go or moved on from and stuff like that. The only one remaining really that's a veteran, a super veteran, is Shaq Thompson, Shaq Thomas, whatever his name is, the linebacker from Washington all those years ago. Derek Brown, who's hurt right now, he's their young guy that's been in the league 3, 4, 5 years now. But Shaq Thompson been in there for a while now. But going into the actual team and why this happened, it just makes all the sense in the world. Bryce hasn't played well. He looks lost, all that stuff. And we have a new regime. Dave Canales, first-time head coach. And we always know when you have a new regime, you have no alliance, no allegiance with that quarterback you have. And so this was made to happen. This was bound to happen, and there's nothing wrong with it. Bryce Young's career isn't over, as people may tell you. Seeing the headlines, seeing all the news, and people on social media is taking everything so serious. It's over. He's done. It's not over. There's still a chance. We thought Baker was over. We thought Sam Darnold was over. He still may have stretches where he will play well, or he might figure it out. You never know what may happen. But you got to have some hope, some positivity, just as a person. But people tend to give you the negative headlines first and all that stuff. But I tend to think, especially as a Bryce Young truther, let me talk more clear. Bryce Young truther, I think he still has some in the tank. Obviously, still young. Just got to find the right system, find the right system, find the right coach, and find the right team, and that sometimes takes time. And as I said before, I'll say it again. I used to scream this at the top of my lungs a couple years back, 3, 4, 5 years ago when I first started this channel and doing my long podcast when I was doing back then. I used to say all the time, all rookie quarterbacks are not the same. Some guys should not be starting until the team around them is better. And, Bryce Young, as I said before back then, Josh Rosen was a victim of that, in my opinion, and Bryce Young the same way. Everybody should not be asked to start from day one. If your team has certain deficiencies or certain issues, wait until the O-line is better. Justin Fields, same thing. Wait till the O-line is better. Wait till you get more weapons. Wait till the defense gets better. Wait a little bit, a year or two. You have an investment. You're spending a bunch of money on your new quarterback. Why not have him? You have him for 5 years. Why not have him in the best situation possible instead of throwing him to the wolves? I understand it's a quick, fast league and you got to be ready ASAP, but that's not how it should be. So I have no concerns about Bryce Young's future. We'll see what happens, but let's get into why I believe the Dolphins are the best landing spot for him. Now, there are some other good spots as well. I've mentioned some in the past, not about Bryce Young, but about sneaky teams who could need a quarterback via next draft. And I mentioned in my Shador Sanders video specifically 5 teams for him that he can land at. And I mentioned some of those teams I'm going to mention now for Bryce Young. Rams make a lot of sense. Matthew Stafford getting up there in age. Bryce Young and Sean McVay's system with a young defense that's growing and getting better, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. You have Puka Nakua, hopefully for the long term after this injury stint for this year. You have him for the long term. He's young, just into the league, going to his third year next year. Cooper Kupp, we'll see what he has left. But you have Kyron Williams and Blake Corum from Michigan. So you have two good running backs. You have a weapon in Puka Nakua, and you have a good head coach with a good young defense that's getting better. That to me is a great spot. The Seahawks, to me, make a great spot. DK Metcalf, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. Offensive line is getting better. They're young, but they're getting better. Young defense with defensive minded head coach. Have him behind Geno Smith for another year. That's not bad. So there's other spots I like out there a lot, but I really fell in love looking around the entire league, looking at the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel's scheme and system will really benefit Bryce Young a whole lot. Now, obviously, they just paid Tua buku bucks of money. I'm just saying, in case, if Tua changes his mind, or he gets bad news, hopefully, Lord willing, he doesn't. But if he gets bad news about his concussion history and stuff like that, they make him retire or he changes his mind in the offseason. I think the Dolphins in the offseason, not now, not now, but in the offseason, if something were to change with Tua's future, as far as him wanting to play or him playing and getting the clearance to play, I think they should go after Bryce Young because the scheme makes a lot of sense for Bryce Young. Not too much thinking, not too much analyzing the field. Just get out your hands quick. Pop and go, move around, go. You don't have to do too much thinking. And Tua, he had different struggles prior to Mike McDaniel than Bryce Young had, but it has some similar struggles also. And accuracy is one. Ball placement, accuracy, kind of the same thing. A little different, but kind of the same thing. Arm strength is also an issue. So I'm definitely thinking if, like I said, big on the if. If Tua cannot go past this year for some weird reason. Hopefully everything's fine with him. I'm just projecting if he can't happen, if that does happen, Bryce Young taking his spot with Tyreek Hill, with Waddle, with Achan and Mostert and Jalen Wright and all those weapons they have on offense with the defense that's kind of iffy. Now I've been saying that last couple of years, Dolphins defense is very iffy, but if they can bring in a guy like Bryce Young to take over for Tua if something were to happen, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. I really wouldn't. Like I said, I hope Tua the best. And the funny thing is, both of those two guys are my two guys, Tua and Bryce Young. If you follow this channel last couple years, I've been saying I'm a Bryce Young truther. I said it pre-draft, and I still say it now, even though it's looking terrible. I thought he was generational. Tua, I forgot who was in this draft class. Was it Lawrence? I think I had him better than Lawrence, no doubt about it. I think it was Lawrence. It was in the same class as Tua, not mistaken. I had him better than Lawrence. I truly did. So I like no, it was Fields. What draft was Tua in? Tua with Burrow? I forgot exactly now, but yeah, whatever quarterback Tua was in the top quarterback Tua was in the draft with, I had him better than those quarterbacks. I had Tua number one. I was sold. So I love Alabama quarterbacks. I love the Bryce Young. I love Tua. So I definitely thought those two guys would pan out. Tua has panned out, kinda. Onto a second contract, getting paid big money, but the injury history kind of makes his future foggy. Bryce Young so far has not. He looks terrible, no doubt about it. But hopefully, new system, new scheme. Not this year, because obviously I think he'll finish the year out. But in the summertime, trade or being released, I think the Dolphins should definitely consider uh, adding him. If not the Dolphins, like I said, the Rams, Seahawks make sense. The Browns make sense. Raiders, Giants. The list goes on. Of certain teams that make sense for Bryce Young again. For Bryce Young to come in and make something happen, make something shake, and try something else because he was number one for a reason. Stroud, obviously, the optics now, 2020, clearly Stroud will be number one. Young would drop probably out the top 10 or maybe top 10, whatever. But back then, you had some people saying Stroud for one. I understood it. But from my standpoint, I still say it to this day. I thought Young was generational. I definitely did. So we'll see what happens there, guys. Wish him the best. Wish Tua the best. Wish everybody the best that I speak on this channel. But we got to be realistic. We got to have some foresight of predicting or projecting. And, if Tua isn't clear to play or changes his mind and it's just too much for him in the summer, I think the Dolphins shouldn't worry about drafting a guy. They should go get Bryce Young. It's probably still draft a guy. They wanted to, but go get Bryce Young just for a year or two and see what he has. So I don't think nothing wrong with that. But that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.